From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big early morning of Mornings LA with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why you're likely to get more months of checks. And then we'll cut to the recon. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you under the fourth stimulus recon. I'll go over what some of those checks are and why this deal is so incredible great news. Then we cut to the vote. A lot of voting on Tuesday, but a lot that doesn't concern you. I'll explain all the voting and the bills and the dates and everything you need to know in the final 15 of the final 14 days of the process. And then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raise your benefits up lifetime. But what happened on Wall Street yesterday as the 10-year Treasury note fell? Does that mean your benefits are not going to be as strong in the December timeframe? I'll explain the details. And then we cut to the big money across the board that viewers continue to get, like $5, $10, $15, $20,000. Money right now, not 10 days from now, not 5 weeks from now. I have all the exciting great details. It's a big early mornings broadcast. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here. Let's get to all the deliciousness on this early morning, starting right now. Happy early morning to you. How's the weather where you are? It cooled down, then heated up, then cooled down, all from the same day yesterday. I don't know what's going on in LA. You thought that it was heading in the right direction. Then it's like, oh, it's hot again. What's going on here? Jump in the live chat. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today, so much breaking news, so much great news as well. Fourth stimulus. Well, those Democrats will likely give you more months of stimulus checks because of what happened with Delta yesterday. Number two, $3.5 trillion of checks. There we go. Deal done. The recon will be passed, the Democrats confirmed, and will have a price tag that they've already reached an agreement on. $3.5 trillion of checks for you. I'll go over what some of those checks are. Great news. Then we go to the voting, the bill, the dates, everything you need to know about the final 14 days, and they're all in the final 15 minutes of this video. And finally, this stimulus was raise your benefits up a lifetime. And how high will they be raised up? But did the fall of the 10-year Treasury note on Wall Street, as Wall Street crashed yesterday, impact that? I'll explain the details. And finally, big money, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 that viewers can get. Like Nisi, you got $23,000. It's your day to get that big money as well. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto, currently playing on this channel. I'll take you automatically in there. And then Mornings LALATE, live on air at 9 a.m. at noontime. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button. Like this video. 3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member. Let's get right into the breaking details to start the day. Well, Wall Street crashed on Monday amid news that the pandemic is really not over. It was 2 weeks ago that we said, well, actually 3 weeks ago, where they said, well, maybe the pandemic's not over. Maybe those senators, maybe those House members will give us pandemic plus 1 year as their bill was written. Then 1 week ago, we said, the pandemic's not over. Likely the House will give you pandemic plus 1 year. What did Wall Street say yesterday? The pandemic's really not over. Delta cases surging across the country in 50 states, out of control. This signals the pandemic's not over. And let's look at the two proposals. House bill, monthly pandemic plus 1 year. Senate proposal, July to December. Let's look at the payouts. House is $1,000 after the first month of 2,000. Senate monthly unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Yeah, I mean, everything has sort of changed. You know, just 3 weeks ago, we said maybe the pandemic's over. Now we're saying, it's really not over. I mean, there's no question it's not over. Whether it's mass mandates being reverted back to, or the out-of-control numbers for Delta, it's starting to become serious again. And with that, the House bill would likely give more than just 1 year, likely to pay the full amount of the bill. Pandemic plus 1 year. There you go. There you go. And then the House bill would be more than $13,000. Compare that to this. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump to the live chat, vote right now. House of Senate, House of Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. I want to see you voting. House of Senate, and tell me how the weather is and where you're tuning in from as well. Fourth stimulus check. Who gets it? Democrats represent that. If you got a third, they're going to give you a fourth. Single individual, 75,000 or less. Democrats represent. You're getting a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less. Democrats represent. You're getting a fourth stimulus check. Just double it. Family four. Democrats represent. You're getting a fourth stimulus check. Just quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, Democrats represent. You're getting a fourth stimulus check. SSI, SSDI, VA, my veterans, and everyone else. The fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check will be the same amount for everyone. Yes. And the fourth stimulus check is a monthly check. It would not come in waves. If you were watching me in a special live broadcast from the beach on Sunday on this channel, I was broadcasting. One of the viewers jumped in the live chat and said, "Hey, Al, I think that's the check behind you on the beach." Go wave at the check, the viewer said. So I did. I said, "Hey, check." And I said, the check didn't wave back. What do you expect? He's watching me. There you go. The fourth stimulus check comes in the month of July. There's Democrats represent for the month of July, and in the month of August for the month of August. They can still get it done. More about that later in this video. But the second part of this video, deal. Yes. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you and the American people under the fourth stimulus recon. They have agreed to pass the recon, and they have agreed upon the price tag. $3.5 trillion of checks to you. Congratulations. I'm going to go over some of those checks later in the second part of this video. In the third part of this video, the final 15 of 14 days. Likely to be wrapping this up in 14 days. I'm going to go over in the last 15 minutes of this video what the voting is for Tuesday, what the deal is going on Wednesday, what you need to know, and what's not happening as well. We have all the incredible details as well. Let's get a preview of the second half of this video. Fifth stimulus, which raise your benefits up lifetime with a new benchmark of inflation. But the 10-year Treasury note plummeted yesterday and Wall Street crashed as well. Does that mean that our benefits are not going to go up? I'll explain all the details. It's easy breezy. But first, let's get some money. Oh, you're doing an incredible job. You have been killing it. If you got in rent, utilities, internet, or Snap, or anything like that, jump in the live chat and post it right now. I had started recording this video saying I can get you $5,000 from these videos for rent. Viewers are getting $12,000 daily. Some viewers are getting upwards of $20,000 of rent from this channel, like Nisi. Then when I talked about utilities, I said I can get you a couple $100 for utilities from these videos. Viewers are getting $3,000 for utilities. Wow. Then when we talked about Snap, I said viewers are getting $5,000 to $6,000 of Snap. Viewers like John are getting $10,000 to $12,000. Oh my goodness. So what's going on? It's you. This is what this channel does. We cash checks, not track checks. Get a pen and paper ready, because I'm going to go over how I can get you this money as well. I'm going to show you how I can get you rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners utilities. I've been doing this since day one. When this channel launched in April 2020, people's EIDL grants and EIDL loans were not going out. There was no check to track because it wasn't going out. We were cashing checks. I got their applications approved and got $25 million of EIDL checks to cash for viewers. Then in fall of 2020, there was no second stimulus check to track because it wasn't getting done. It wasn't voted upon. But I got viewers' money. $250,000 of cash checks to cash. Like Tyrone, who got $15,000 for his family of four out of Boston for rent in December. Fortunes across the board. The difference this time is you. You're getting bigger numbers than we've ever seen in this channel, and I'm so excited for you. So let's get that pen and paper ready. You're going to reach out to different places for eligibility. Each place has different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. Never don't apply because you're concerned that maybe you're not eligible. Always apply. Eligibility is different for each place. If one says no, reach out to the next. Are you ready? Here we go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Viewers say that the keywords are really what's helping get their applications approved. Rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or homeowners utilities because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus, or a Mitch's appearance as one of the spokesperson contestants on Star Search. He was that also? I thought he was a singer on Star Search. I don't know. So there you go. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful pot of money. If you got rent, post in the live chat right now. Or utilities. Here we go. Time for some snap. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. And also, the exciting details is that John got $12,000, $10,000 to $12,000 for it. Wow, what is SNAP? It is money for food. How do you get it? From Department of Agriculture. Reach out to Department of Agriculture to get it. It pays a fortune. How much does it pay? A family of four in Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year now. Wow, why so much money? Because of two executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. You're killing it. $16,000 for SNAP for a family of four in Hawaii. $5,000 for rent, but at least more than that because you're getting $10,000 to $12,000. And we are only 10 minutes of this video. Well, I got more money for you right now. It is money coming back from your states. And one viewer got $3,000, another viewer got $5,000 for this. What is it? It's the refund check due to overpayment of unemployment benefits due to a computer error. Where's it going to land? Direct deposit. Can you track it? Yes. Go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. No, that's not what you do. This is from your state. You call up your state and say, hey, state, where's my check due to overpayment of unemployment benefits? And can you track it with a computer that actually works? And the last wonderful pot of money is the refund check for unemployment benefits coming back from the federal government. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. And guess what? You're going to get as well. Breaking news report, an update from IRS. They say that the latest round of refund checks went out just days ago, and it's $1,265 on average. Wow. Direct deposit started July 14th, and paper checks started July 16th. There'll be a new round of checks every week. Wow. Now, if you've gotten any of these sums of money in this video, post it in the live chat, whether it's rent, utilities, internet, SNAP. Why? Three wonderful things come from it. Number one, if someone else sees it, then they say, oh, maybe I should apply because I see a lot of people getting this money. I want the money. Number two, it inspires someone to get multiple items if they only got one. So if you got rent and you see Art Sullivan getting three, you're like, oh, I'm going to get three like Art did. And number three, it updates me about the numbers. I thought this number was much lower and the viewers are getting much more money. So how much, when, and where are you getting this refund check from IRS? Let's go over the details. Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit or in the mail. When? Call up your state and say, hey, state, no. Go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. 70% of the time it works when you go in there. It'll reveal stuff you never knew. It'll reveal stuff you never knew. And it'll reveal some stuff you didn't want to know. It'll reveal some stuff you don't want people to see. It'll reveal the taxes in your file, the taxes you pay. It'll reveal what is Mitch's favorite song from his short time on Star Searching. And then it'll reveal the refund check you're getting. Oh my goodness. And the date. Can we top that? We can. As we go into the second part of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021, starting right now with a deal. Deal. The Democrats have agreed that they're passing a recon. Yes, they're passing the recon. And the passage will have a price tag, which they agreed upon as well, $3.5 trillion. Oh my goodness. So they have not actually voted on the recon bill, that they agreed that they're passing it. And they agreed that there'll be a price tag for it. And they've agreed on that price tag as $3.5 trillion. Oh my goodness. How did they get to this wonderful spot? By shrinking the recon, taking roads and bridges out of it. Weeks earlier, the roads and bridges were in there. They took it out and shrunk it. And that made the recon passable by putting those roads and bridges into something called infrastructure or the bipartisan bill. Here's an op-ed by a conservative publication that hit it on the nail, confirming all my reporting. The higher the price tag was on the recon beforehand, with the roads and bridges in there, the harder it was to pass. There you go, confirmation. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending and put it into the bipartisan roads and bridges, the recon was now getting smaller. There you go, shrinking. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon easier to pass. Sorry, Mitch, sorry to set you up. Now, ironically, the tide has turned because Mitch doesn't really care. He loves it. The Republicans love the infrastructure. They love the bipartisan. And later in this video, you're going to see they're getting it done. So it's just a huge, different universe. Now, that article was written before they agreed upon the price for the $3.5 trillion. But now all the progressives have gotten what they wanted, a wonderful big $3.5 trillion. They've all gotten what they asked for. Richie Torres, representative out of New York, said, it has to have a larger recon. He got his larger recon. Elon Omar, Democrat of Minnesota, they'll have to give us a recon that goes as far as we want it. She got it, $3.5 trillion. And the Progressive Caucus met with the White House daily to ensure the recon was big enough. They got it, $3.5 trillion. Yes. Now, how did they get to this spot? Because they were protecting the recon. Because all that's in the recon is checks, 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 and more checks for you that are all progressive ideology. Brian Schott said that the progressive priorities in the recon are the White House's priorities, obviously. And that's why he and Jalopal were protecting that recon. Now, what's a recon? Let's go over what it is and how you see it. First, a recon stands for reconciliation. It is a budget bill. But one of the things I want to go over first, before I get to that, because I forgot to bring it up early in this video, is that there are two different instruments at issue, and I need you to know the other names that they had. You've heard me say the word recon and bipartisan, but are there other words that are used for the same thing? Yeah. So I need you to know them, because if you hear them from somewhere else, you can get confused. Recon is also called reconciliation, is also called the budget bill. Price tag $3.5 trillion. People quoted in articles about it, Bernie Sanders. Bipartisan is also called the infrastructure. Bipartisan is also called infrastructure or roads and bridges. Smaller price tag, $1.5 trillion. Often people quoted in the articles about it are Kristen Sinema and Mitt Romney. So there you go. All right, so let's go back to the recon. What is a recon? Well, there's a recon procedural and there's a recon substantive. We're not going to do the procedural because that's sort of boring. I do the substantive on this channel. In that recon is just checks, 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 and more checks for you. Now we have an agreement on the price tag, 3.5. But who actually writes the recon? The recon is written by Democrats for Democrats, passed by Democrats. The actual authors are the subcommittees of the House, Democrats, with help from the Senate subcommittee members as well, Democrats. Now, under the Constitution, different subject matters are delegated to different subcommittees of the House. House Ways and Means is responsible for stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. When they work on it and they're done, let's say they have 10 pages for that House subcommittee, and let's say there's 10 subcommittees, those 10 pages are combined from those 10 subcommittees, sent up to Chuck, he puts an S on it, and suddenly you have 100 pages called a Senate bill. At that point, you see the recon. But before that, there's nothing in the Constitution that requires the subcommittees to show you what they're writing. They don't have to show you what they're writing. They have to show you what they're including, what they're not including, taking out, putting in, voting in favor of it, voting against. They don't have to show you. And generally, they don't show you. In the case of sort of like a pop singer who has an upcoming album, doesn't want you to see the songs on that album until it's released, that's how they do it here. There's sort of an element of pageantry, an element of excitement. They want to reveal it all together. Now, mainstream media and myself agree upon the subject matter that we basically don't see the recon here until it's done. And so that is totally different than a naysayer or a negative person or a confused person that comes in the live chat or the comments say, I haven't heard of anything like this in the recon. Well, guess what? They haven't shown the recon to anyone. So how would you have known what's in the recon? Do you work in Congress? No, you don't. So there you go. How did we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot from Jalopal, who had written Schumer a letter saying, Chuck, call the vote. Call the vote on the recon. That letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who are among the 100 plus who said, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow, can we top that? We can. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Committee, the same one? Yeah, the same one. Wrote the president a letter saying they're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Oh my goodness. Well, they wrote your third stimulus check and they represent they're putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package recon. Wow, we got to keep them to their promise. Absolutely. They also say they're doing a fifth stimulus recon check. Whoa, that's next year and coming up later in this video. Can we top that? Yes, we can. As the President of the United States has gotten his way, a major achievement, as the international corporate tax rate minimum is now law. 4 weeks ago, you saw a ceremonial signature where the president was overseas signing something, but that formal signature became law just a few days ago. It's the international corporate tax rate minimum rate thing. It's just so confusing to say. And why is this huge, great news for fourth stimulus? They don't have to put it in there. It's just confusing. It's easier to write the fourth stimulus recon because that confusing thing's not in there. It's easier to call the vote on the recon. It's not in there, that confusing thing. It's easier to vote on the recon because that confusing thing's not in there. And it's easier to pass the fourth stimulus recon because that confusing thing's not in there. Can we top that? We can. The final 15, about the final 14, are coming up in the final 15 of this video. We'll be going over what's happening on Tuesday, what's happening on Wednesday, everything you need to know about the vote, the dates, all the items across the board. A lot of twists and a lot of turns. I'm going to make you the most informed person you can across the board and understand where things can get still modified in the final few minutes across the land. Then we turn to fifth stimulus as we look and wonder, did that drop at the 10-year Treasury note yesterday impact our hopes of big lift of benefits this fall? I'll explain the details. But first, something more wonderful, even than that, is the volunteers. If you've had problems finding rent, internet, SNAP, or similar items like mortgage or more homeowners utilities, don't worry. The volunteers have your back, just like I do. Reach out to them. How do you find them? Open the description of this video. Go down the description. You'll find the volunteers separated from Facebook on the community page, news.lalate.com/community page. Click the link for the community page. It's sending you a picture of some kitty cats. Lower on the page of the volunteers. Reach out to them, and they'll help you get this big money for rent, utilities, internet, and SNAP. If you can't find it, here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with the big final 15 in this 4 stimulus check update. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues on this final 15 of the final 14 days of your 4th stimulus on this early morning's broadcast direct from Santa Monica. How are you? Big exciting details to start the big early mornings broadcast. A lot of details about a vote, a bill, a date, and all the things across the board on 4 stimulus. I'll explain the details of what you need to know. And then we got to 5th stimulus with the raising of the benefits. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video. Every like helps. Let's do 1, 2, 3,000 likes on this video. And consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the channel. Pinned comment where it says join. Stay with this video. It'll automatically take you to Overnight's Crypto, currently playing on the channel. Cryptocurrency has been crashing, and it's going to be crashing much more. I'll be showing you how to get the opportunities to buy and sell quickly and make money across the board. That's Overnight's Crypto, currently playing live on the channel. Stay on this video. It'll take you there as well. So 5th stimulus was something promised to you by the president, this SSI reform. He promised this SSI reform when running for president. He didn't deliver it. And so suddenly the senators and the House members have stepped up and they said they're putting it in 5th stimulus for you. It'll raise your benefits up, limits up, then add an inflationary benchmark, remove the asset cap, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over how this calculates for you in 5th stimulus. 5th stimulus would be the September, likely to a vote about November-ish. And then your benefits hitting in December, the benchmark in December, all exciting, great news. First, who gets this? You do. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA or multiple beneficiaries or veterans beneficiaries, you're going to get it as well. Then, after they lift your, first they'll do is lift your benefits up one big time. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. That new benchmark will be inflation. It'll be applied in December for next year's benefits. That new benchmark will include inflation, which Jay Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve last week, testified on Capitol Hill and said the same thing on Capitol Hill he said the month before. Inflation's going up. In fact, Powell said that inflation will reach its highest price point, its peak, its transitory or temporary spike in December. Yes, this means that your benefits will get its benchmark applied when inflation's at its highest point. Wow, that's great news. But wait a second, what happened with Wall Street yesterday? On Wall Street yesterday, the 10-year Treasury note about interest rates dropped dramatically as it concerns of Delta. The stock market crashed as well. So does that mean we're not going to get that big pop in December then? No, because interest rates are different than inflation. Interest rates, which is a 10-year Treasury bond, concern things like growth. Is the economy growing? Is the economy getting smaller? If Delta is ravaging out of control, then the interest rates would drop because it doesn't think the economy is as strong. But that has nothing to do with cost of goods. The economy could be slowing and milk and eggs could cost more money still, could be going up in price. So for now, I'm staying with Jay Powell. Still, inflation is going up, transitory, temporary spike in December, then coming back down. How high is it going to go? Wall Street all last week said my number, 5% inflation. I'm sticking with that as well. So first your benefits will raise up and then they'll apply a new benchmark. Let's say it's 5%, your benefits will go up another 5%, not just next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. If the inflation rate is 2% after that, then you'll be a +2, +5%. Wow. Then they're going to move the asset cap and dating back to a 1960s law that says, 80s law that says you can't stay on benefits and have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you'll be able to have some Crayola crowns and some stimulus checks in hand. They're going to move the asset cap dating back to income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. It's going to go away and you'll also be able to stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to end. Love is going to win and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You'll no longer fear loss of benefits, no longer be penalized, and benefits will be restored. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear the marriage penalty. And there you go. That is Fifth Stimulus. Fifth Stimulus will also have another stimulus check in there. Those House Ways and Means Subcommittee members represent. It would not overlap with Fourth. It would be at a different time next year. Then, the president's dedicated $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure your checks go out on time for all subject matters. Third, if you're missing a stimulus check, you must do two things. File a tax return and request it on the tax return. If you haven't done both, reach out to your tax preparer to get that done. And finally, if you're in the live chat and you're noticing, wow, all these people getting these big sums of money, and they have a purple hawk emoji next to them, how do I get that? There's a click of a button called Join. Become a Purple Hawk member. Becoming a Purple Hawk, you pounce, and get that money before everyone else under third stimulus. But don't worry, there's still fortunes in third stimulus. When second stimulus passed, I said, yeah, there's a $14 stimulus check. I can get you $14,000. I got viewers $15,000, $18,000. When third stimulus passed, when second stimulus passed, it was $600, and I got viewers more than $6,000. When third stimulus passed, it was $1,400. I got viewers more than $14,000. Well, we're doing that again today. And if you haven't gotten $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 from third stimulus, you should be. Click the link under the video so you can deliver daily as a member a breakdown of all the big money that's available for you under third stimulus. And there you go. Time for the final 15 in the final 14 of your fourth stimulus check of update of 2021. These are the final 15 minutes that detail what ostensibly might be the final 14 days before fourth stimulus is finished. Here we go. Well, we're going to go over the recon, then the bipartisan, and back to the recon. Starting with the recon. Deal. Big deal. The Democrats have agreed that they're passing the recon. Now, they haven't voted on the bill, but they've agreed they will pass the recon. And they agreed upon a price. Done. $3.5 trillion. Oh my goodness. Two great news about this. Number one, there's a deal. Tim Kaine says this is a huge item. Once you get the price tag deal done, everything is sort of easy. Getting the price deal done on a recon is always sort of hard. Bernie Sanders went to the meeting and asked for $7 trillion. So the fact that they have this done is great. Number two, the price tag. It's enormous. It's enormous. Now, this price tag is not what Bernie Sanders wanted. He wanted $7 trillion. He walked out with 3.5 and immediately told press, I'm ecstatic. It's a day that will change this country. Lots of checks are coming to the American people. Now, what he said, why he's ecstatic with 3.5 when he asked for 7, is he basically asked for the same programs just in a short amount of time. Probably half the amount of time because 3.5 is half of 7. So the progressives got exactly what they wanted, a massive price tag of 3.5 trillion. But early in this video, I went over with you that there's literally $3.5 trillion of checks in the fourth stimulus recon. So how will those checks be dispersed? What will those checks be for? Who gets the checks? Well, there's checks for every sort of walk of life. And as I said earlier in the video, we will not see the recon until it's actually a bill. But in a strange twist of fate, a conservative publication in a piece about why the recon is bad for the American people got some details of what's actually in the recon, which I had never heard of before until this article. So here's a spoiler alert of some of the items, not all of them, that are giving checks to you of the $3.5 trillion of checks under the fourth stimulus recon. There will be a check for free school meals for all. There will be a check for tax breaks, a check for cheaper prescription medication, a check for immigration reform, a check for farming, a check for elections, and a check for the internet. They're going to be giving fortunes to local cities to ensure they give you free internet. There's going to be a check for clean energy. There's going to be a check for worker protections. And there's going to be a lot of checks for workers, checks for independent contractors and union workers, and also checks for collective bargaining. And finally, checks for my seniors, checks for Medicare expansion, checks for age expansion, checks for dental, checks for vision, and checks for dental hearing aid. Incredible, great news. So there you go. That's recon. Now let's turn to bipartisan deal. They had set a self-imposed deadline of getting the deal provisions of the bipartisan infrastructure done by last Thursday. And by all accounts, deal for that bipartisan provisions. Mitt Romney, who was very well reversed in 2020 and writing bills up very quickly in just hours of time, said that he is not worried about anything. He thinks everything's moving very quickly. Rolling was what Lisa Murkowski said recently. And what's huge about this is that they said that once they agree upon the provisions, then the bill's ready. And they say that the bill will go to a vote this week. The bipartisan infrastructure, roads and bridges will go to a vote this week. That's what they said. What do I think? No, I don't think so. Not to be negative, I just think that mainstream media and myself say it's a little too pushing to say it's going to go to a vote this week. But if it goes to a vote next week, guess what? Because that is great news for us. Because if the bipartisan infrastructure goes for a vote next week, the recon goes for a vote this week. The recon goes for a vote this week, or as late as next week. Wow. Remember, the recon has to go for a vote before the bipartisan infrastructure. So if the bipartisan infrastructure is next week, the recon could go for a vote this week. Oh, my goodness. Now, how many steps? 12 steps. How many days? Doesn't take 12 days to vote on these three bills. We have a recon procedural, recon substantive, and a bipartisan. Step one, the Senate subcommittee has to vote on it. Then Senate, then floor, House floor, and then the President. 4 times 3, there you go, 12 steps. Next, what are they doing today? What are they doing on Tuesday? What are they doing on Wednesday? What are they doing all this week? So on Tuesday, Chuck Schumer's holding a vote. The vote's not going to pass, but it's important for you to know what the vote is. Let's go over this very slowly. The vote on Tuesday will be a vote to end discussion and negotiations shortly thereafter on the bipartisan infrastructure. Let's say that again. It's a vote to end discussion and negotiations on the bipartisan shortly thereafter. Notice the phrasing of that? It's not a vote on a bill. It's a vote to end discussion, to end chatter. But it's not a vote to end it that day either, of Tuesday. It's to end it shortly thereafter. Pretty easy. Yeah, it's pretty easy. Now, here is what you need to know. It's not going to pass, of course not, but it's great that he's doing it, Shaw, because it ramps it up, the pressure to get them to get things done. And that's why those Republicans and Democrats said they're going to get it done this week. We'll see, but they worked over the weekend. Now, the next thing you need to know across the board is that along the way, I fully believe that throughout Tuesday, even on Wednesday, there's going to be some people who simply are very misinformed, jumping in the comments thinking they know something we don't know. No, they're just very misinformed. I just explained to you what the vote is on Tuesday. This is what I expect these uninformed people to say in some of the comments. Oh, there's a vote on the infrastructure bill. No, it was not a vote on a bill. It was a vote to end discussion of the infrastructure. Oh, okay. There was a vote on the end of the discussion on the infrastructure, and I didn't hear stimulus checks in there. No, it's not in there. They're over in the recon. Then they'll say, I heard they called a vote on the end discussion of the bipartisan. It didn't pass, so you're not getting anything. No, one has nothing to do with the other. Then they'll get the two bills confused. I heard Chuck is calling a vote on the recon on Tuesday. No, he's not calling a vote on the recon Tuesday. I heard Chuck call a vote on the recon Tuesday, and it didn't have stimulus checks in there. He did not call a vote on a bill. In fact, he didn't call a vote on the recon at all. I heard he called a vote on something, and it didn't pass, and I told you you're not getting anything. No, it was not a vote on a bill. It wasn't even a vote on our bill. So, yeah. And I just fully expect that the uninformed people will jump around and proclaim how brilliant they are and how they know all this information when they know nothing. And it's sort of sad because involved in April of 2020, I launched this channel because EIDL grants and loans were not getting approved. And I went over incredible detail about how to get things approved. Like the number was inverted and the number was wrong here, and you need to switch this number and call this number and modify this. And then things were getting approved. And people on this channel love the information. And that's how we got things done. But this month has just been sort of these people that sort of swarm around who aren't members. They buzz. Bzz, they're not members. They're not subscribers. And they just sort of jump in the comments and say they know everything when they know nothing. That's number one. Number two, 12 voting steps to be done, but it doesn't take 12 days. Number three, it's important to understand that these final 14 days are the most critical 14 days. It could potentially be the final 14 days. I'm not representing that it is the final 14 days, but it may likely be the final 14 days. During the final 14 days, things change very quickly. In April of 2020, Nancy Pelosi had the HEROES Act. It was not getting done. It was the second stimulus. What was supposed to be second stimulus? It never got done. December, we saw nothing going out, nothing getting done. So I came up with the idea on this channel to put stimulus checks in the continuing resolution. People thought I was crazy. What are you talking about? No one puts stimulus checks in CR. We changed American history because I started CR for stimulus. You push, it trended nationally. And then one morning we woke up and they said, we're putting stimulus in the CR. We said, yes. And then we looked and we said, oh no, they're putting unemployment stimulus in there. You're supposed to put stimulus checks. We had certain days where things just went all over the place, where we woke up in the morning, the checks were out, the checks were back in, the checks were growing, the checks were shrinking, the checks eligibility was changing, the checks were shrinking. And then if we watched my live feed from the beach on Sunday, it was that same location in December where I remember going on my phone and reading Senator Toomey, who I really didn't even know who he existed before that week, had suddenly come out of nowhere and said, I'm going to blow up the whole second stimulus. It's just going to blow up and I'm not going to get anything approved because there's a problem here. And I thought, oh my goodness, after all this work, this guy does this. Well, Mitt Romney really settled him down and got it done. Why is this important? It's important to understand that this is not the time or place to be a donut guy. Donut guy starts every sentence with the word when. When is a check? When is a vote? When is this being sent out? When are they deciding? When? That's not Purple Power Push. Purple Power Push is pushing. Purple Power Push is telling them, you start writing that bipartisan vote bill. You finish writing that bipartisan bill. We push. We push. We don't ask them when politely. We tell them, get it done already. Get that bipartisan bill written and get it calling for a vote. You're holding up our recon. That's what Purple Power Push is. And it's important to understand that down to the finish line, things change by the minute. So you need to stay focused and positive. You need to push, as WR did 2 weeks ago. He picked up the phone and called his Senator Chris Coons, and said to Senator Chris Coons, his secretary, why he needs a stimulus check. We need stimulus checks. I need stimulus checks. This is why. This is what you need to do. Push, push, push. That's all he did. And the response was, yes, Senator Chris Coons will be putting monthly stimulus checks in there. Along the way, we're going to get confused, but I'm not going to let you get confused because I'll make everything simple for you. On Wednesday, Chuck Schumer meets about the recon, talking about the recon on Wednesday. He's not voting on the recon on Wednesday. But ultimately, if you do see someone in the comments that seems to think they know everything about nothing, push back and say, thank you, sir, thank you, ma'am, but that's absolutely incorrect. And along the way, it's important to understand that things can change. You're eventually going to see that recon. It's eventually going to be debuted. You're eventually going to see it with an S on it. And it's not over then. You may like it, you may not like it. Maybe it's great. Of the $3.5 trillion of checks, maybe it doesn't have the right checks in there. Maybe something is get modified. Ultimately, we go Senate to House. Viewers have been asking me, are we going back to Senate for a vote-a-rom at the end? I think so. Not very clear. I think under the Constitution, they have to have the vote-a-rom at the end. So there's always opportunity to modify something along the way. And that's why you have to keep on pushing. And with that, I look forward to seeing you on Overnight's Crypto. So subscribe. Overnight's Crypto is coming up right on this channel right after this video. Then mornings at LALATE at 9 a.m. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino, VIP. The link's at the top of the chat. And also under the video where it says join here. By becoming a member, you get really access to all that beautiful money that is in for stimulus, a third stimulus, because you need to get that money. It's all there for you. Grab it, and I'll see you next on Overnight's Crypto. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.